Hey there guys, what's going on? Tyler here with your Movie Fix, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Russo brothers' Captain America Civil War. Starring basically everyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's been 4 years since the Avengers formed. We've seen an alien invasion in New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. collapse under Hydra, and a sentient robot attempt to wipe out the entire human race. But could we have avoided these things without the Avengers? Could they have gone smoother if they just operated under the United Nations? Or was it all for the best that the Avengers acted when they needed to? This is Civil War. I just gotta say, my first reactions walking out of it, it was awesome. And although this is Captain America's movie, I went in Team Iron Man and I left Team Iron Man. But really it is a Captain America and Bucky, a Winter Soldier centric movie. In the way that I think the first Avengers, I think both Avengers movies are very Iron Man centric. I think that this is just a Captain America centric Avengers movie. They call it Captain America, but when you have the entire Avengers and they're a lot of the main cast who often get a lot of screen time, this is an Avengers movie, whether they want to call it Captain America. But I do think it was an awesome completion to the Captain America trilogy. I'd put it close to being on par with the Dark Knight trilogy. I still think that is the best one. Probably Captain America under that and the original Spider-Man trilogy, but this was an awesome addition and a great addition to just the MCU and the Avengers movies. Now there is an event at the beginning of this movie involving Scarlet Witch and some of the Avengers, and that is what ultimately drives the need for this act, for the Sokovia Accords, for the superheroes to register so they can act under the UN and the governments and yada yada. And I just want to say that specific event that happens with Scarlet Witch, that is the only moment that got me emotional in this movie, and it was like within the first 10 minutes. With Scarlet Witch, and the same thing with Age of Ultron. Elizabeth Olsen does a really great job just emoting and showing off her pain, and I loved what they did at the beginning of this movie, and it leads to a lot of things going on with the UN, and there's an event that places Bucky at the blame, and that's where everything really gets going. Now Cap has gone out to talk with Bucky to figure out what's going on. I know you wouldn't do this. So really the whole movie is about Cap trying to defend Bucky's innocence, with everyone on Iron Man's side thinking that no, we need to stop allowing these kind of things to happen. We need to go and we need to register under the government, and Cap's side says no, while also they're all trying to defend Bucky, because if Captain America thinks that he didn't do this, then they're on his side, they're going to be siding with him, and that's how it is. And really there's gray areas, because yes, I'm Team Iron Man. I can't say that Captain America was wrong, I can't say Iron Man was wrong. Now Tony was really just looking out for the Avengers. That's all he was doing. We've been seeing hints of this forever, with the PTSD led from the first Avengers, Iron Man 3, and going into Age of Ultron with Scarlet Witch messing up his head and seeing all the Avengers dead. The Avengers are his family. He loves them. But he is a volatile character, and he's just doing what he thinks is best. And he thinks that it's best for them to do this, and Captain America thinks that we need to be able to act when we need to be able to, because what if the UN doesn't let us go where we need to go? And that's really just, there's so many gray areas, because both Captain America and Iron Man are correct in their stances. Now the events of this film pretty naturally lead us into new characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man. Black Panther fit in probably the most organically. Now Spider-Man, although a great introduction and a great way to introduce how we got Tony meeting up with Aunt May and Peter Parker, it was a little bit out of nowhere. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but him just saying I know a guy, I got something up my sleeve, and it's just they go to Queens, and this is where we get Tony interacting with Peter Parker and him recruiting him and everything. And I just want to say very briefly that both Chadwick Boseman and Tom Holland did an awesome job playing, Black Panther and Spider-Man respectively. So yeah, they just did absolutely great. And now I'm really on board with seeing the next Spider-Man movie. I mean, I didn't have any trepidations about Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I was always looking forward to it, but he did a really great job and he was awesome in the movie. Now there is a lot to love about this film. It does have great dialogue and a lot of interesting character moments, and it has a really good story. And it does have some really good humor, and I will say my favorite moment in the film is something involving Agent 13, Captain America, and a Volkswagen. Just absolutely hilarious, and it does have awesome action set pieces going on. I will say maybe the airport fight dragged on just a little bit, but it was all pure gold. It was awesome to see all the Avengers going at it, but I'll talk about that in just a second. And I want to highlight Robert Downey Jr. as just he was the light of this film. He brought his absolute best performance. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was absolutely killer as Tony Stark and Iron Man in this movie. and his performance just sadly overshadowed everyone else who did awesome. I didn't have any issues with anyone's, abilities to act in this film. Everyone knows these parts, they know these characters, and even some of the newer characters, like getting Thunderbolt Ross back or Everett Ross back in there, they all did great. But Robert Downey Jr. did an awesome job at bringing the emotion. He was 100% the emotional core of this film. We got to see just how volatile and sporadic Tony can be, and it made sense for everything that happened in this movie. But yeah, back to the airport, I will say that there were stakes in this film. Things happened, there were consequences, people were getting hurt, some people got hurt pretty damn badly. And no, it wasn't necessarily that they were trying to kill each other, but they acknowledged if we have to do that, that's what's going to happen. So they weren't necessarily all absolutely going balls to the wall trying to kill each other. That wasn't the point. They were trying to stop each other, and when you see the context of the airport scene, it'll all make sense. Now, there aren't many downsides to this film. I will say that the music wasn't very memorable, just a couple of really nitpicky things, and Baron Zemo, I can't say that he's a negative. I just was a little lukewarm about him. He was very interesting, posing and pulling all the strings and being the mastermind behind everything, but I'm not sure just how I feel about his motivations. I'm just not sure how I feel about him, and I should have left thinking he was a great villain, but they set him up that maybe we're going to get to see more of him. And one thing I love that this movie does, that a lot of the Marvel movies haven't really done, in fact, almost none of them, I don't know that there's no way you can enjoy this movie unless you have seen pretty much all of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe films, at least Phase 2. You have to understand what's going on in this film. I don't know that anyone can properly enjoy this movie if they don't know the ins and outs of these characters and the events, everything leading up to Civil War. And this movie probably isn't very general audience friendly for people that are new to Marvel movies, and that's fine. This is a franchise. It's a huge franchise. You should probably go check them out for the better of your life. Check out the other Marvel movies if you're going in to see Civil War. But all in all, you're going to have a great time if you go watch this movie. And I'm going to give Civil War a 9 out of 10. Well, have you seen Civil War? What did you think about it? Comment down below who your favorite character was. What did you think of Spider-Man and Black Panther? I'll see you guys on the next video. Be sure to subscribe for more movie news, movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys later.